Middle of the Renaissance period of China, the Tang Dynasty, the capital city was Chang'an, and it was very much like New York is today, where it was the center of fashion and
culture
and
trade. It was the ultimate destination of the Silk Road. Very similar how New York City is the ultimate destination for world travel today.
So let's take a quick look at this short video on Chang'an.
Welcome back. We're live in Times Square for NTD's 4th International Chinese Culinary Competition. And as we brave the elements here, we are featuring the Shandong cuisine in round 2 of the finals.
Yes, it's very exciting to be here. In fact, this is the NTD's 4th year hosting this Chinese culinary cuisine.
That's right. It started 4 years ago in a small restaurant in New York City, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It started in a small restaurant in New York City, and then after this, after it was a success, we went to Pier 60,
That's
which is
right.
over
It
at
started
Chelsea
to grow.
Pier.
We needed a little more room for all these chefs to travel around the world, come here and show their stuff. And then we brought it to Times Square.
Last year was our first year here, and it's very exciting because this competition aims to revive and promote traditional culture.
That's right. And it's not just the competition here in Times Square. This competition started weeks ago with preliminaries in Kaohsiung, in Taiwan, in an open stadium, where over 72 judges competed their best to get here to New York City and join the finals. And 9 have joined us today in the finals today. And we are watching all these sophisticated cutting techniques and all these skills culminating in weeks and weeks of trial and error. And now they're here competing for over $10,000.
Yes, and it looks like Xu Huai Wang from Pennsylvania is actually starting to prepare his required dish of the sliced chicken fillet, and we saw earlier they really mince that chicken up. So he's using 2 of the traditional Chinese knives
He's trying to save some time because he's got 3 dishes to make. He has 3 dishes to make, whereas in the preliminaries they only had 2. So he's got to save as much time as possible, and we can see him utilizing those unique Chinese chefs' cutting skills to save that time.
It's kind of fun. It looks like a little, you're playing the drums and there's this little rhythm going, it's chop, 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 flip.
That's right.
Chop, 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 flip.
And with different types of meat, they have to cut the food in different ways, don't they, Tyson?
Yes, they have to cut the food. For chicken, it's a very soft meat, same as fish. So they can actually cut with the grain because it's easy to chew. Of course, in this case, he's really mincing it. But with beef and lamb, they have to cut against the grain.
That's
and the
right.
reason why they do that is to make it much easier to chew on.
That's right. Making food delectable and tender is very much part of the Chinese cuisine, but it can't be too tender. So they have the specific ways to cutting different meat. Like you said, with the beef and the lamb, they cut against the grain. But with pork, because it's not as tough, they're cutting diagonally. So there's a lot of things for these chefs to remember while they factor in all of these things.
I really enjoy watching them work on mincing this chicken. It reminds me about the meaning of food.
Mm-hmm.
It has a very strong inner meaning to it.
That's right. Food in Chinese just doesn't mean just the substance that you're going to stick in your mouth. The Chinese character for food is actually a combination of 2 other Chinese characters. And if you look up on the screen, you can see them. It is ren for human and liang for good. So in order to make good food, you have to be a
good person.
That's right. And we have a lot of good people traveling from all over the world coming here to show us how great they are.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about the cutting techniques that these chefs have been using. Why don't we take a minute and watch a video on cutting techniques? Welcome back. We're live in Times Square for this exciting event. It's NTD's 4th International Chinese Culinary Competition. And as we brave the elements, we are here in the second round of the finales featuring the ancient Shandong cuisine.
Yes, it's very exciting. We're looking at the judges who are all starting to, I think they had, actually it takes quite a bit of time for the judges to come up with who they decide who will be the finalists, and then they decide who will actually be the winners.
Yep. Well, the judges will have an opportunity to have some of this pork that we see the chef slicing right now when they have an opportunity to judge him. But we're watching him prepare this meat for one of his dishes. He's making sure that the meat is not only even, but it's also sliced very thin.
Yes, they have to be even and all of the same size. That's one of the most important things, because they have to be able to cook the food. If it's not all sliced the same size, then it won't cook at the same time. And actually, the judges are looking for two major things. They're looking at how the chefs are preparing the food, which counts for 20% of the score, is measured on this preparation process. And part of that, they're looking at the chef's attitude, how professional they are, and also how clean they're keeping their workstation.
That's right. The contestants are required to produce food in its most traditional sense, with the distinguishable features and characteristics of that particular dish, geographic region, and cuisine style. There is no use of any chemicals, preservatives, or additives, and definitely no use of any MSG.
Yes. Now, for the Chinese people, food is considered the most important thing. And of course, what is so wonderful about food is how it tastes.
That's right. Taste is one of the two main pillars of traditional Chinese cuisine, with the other being nutrition.
Yes, and you know, before you get to taste the food will come to you at your table, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, that looks so good, and your mouth will start to water. And so you'll already be prepared to get ready to taste this wonderful food, and you'll smell the food. So all of these things, the color of the food, the taste, the aroma, and the cutting skills, goes to 80% of the cooking, of the judging process. 80% of it is counted on how it tastes and looks. Well,
we've had a chance to learn a little bit about what we're seeing. We're watching these chefs in action. Let's go to our audience and see how they're enjoying this. Over to you, Cici.
Hello everyone out there, I'm Cici Lee from Food Paradise. Isn't it amazing? Rain or shine, we are here. And with me here, I have Ingo from Germany. How are you, sir?
Oh, it's wonderful. Beside the weather, it's awful.
How do you like it? I mean, isn't it exciting cooking under the rain?
Yes. It was very interesting for me to see a competition like this here midst of New York.
So what do you think about this Chinese food so far?
Well, I have visited China, starting in Beijing and going around to see the terracotta army, and I've been in Shanghai and Hong Kong and so on.
That's wonderful. So how do you like about today's food?
I always try to eat the food of the country. And I'm not aware if something is spicy, it's okay. I like it.
What do you think about this competition so far? You've been here quite a while, right?
Yeah, it is a pity that we have the rain here, so maybe they couldn't show the best they could.
Okay, enjoy. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to you guys.
Welcome back. We're live in Times Square for NTD's 4th International Chinese Culinary Competition. We're here in second round of the finals featuring the Shandong cuisine.
Yes, it's very exciting to be here. We're in the kitchens now looking at kitchen station number 2, Xu Wang from Pennsylvania. And he is preparing he's taking a deep breath. You know, in Chinese culinary cuisine, heat and timing is very important. There's actually a term for it called huahou.
That's right.
And it refers to the heat level as well as the length of cooking time over different heat levels. And you know, since they have to prepare 3 dishes in this short hour, they really have to also make sure that they're preparing each dish in the right order so that it all comes out appropriately.
That's right. And you see Xu Wang there in cooking station number 2 working really hard on his shredded pork tenderloins, which he's going to then saute in coriander. He's marinating them right now. It looks like in cornstarch and tenderizing them.
Yes, it's also very common in the Shandongese cuisine to use a technique which we spoke about a little bit earlier called ta, where they spice the food and then they put starch in it, and that gives it this very unique and delicious flavor. Okay, so we
are featuring the Shandong cuisine, and it's one of the largest cuisines in all of Chinese history, dating back 4,000 years. It has the most variety of types of food and the most techniques and the largest number of dishes because it's been around so long. It's had one of the largest influences on all the other all Chinese food throughout all of history.
Yes. Now today you'll see the chefs doing a lot of mixing. Meaning, well, not only mixing in the mixing bowls, but also they'll have to mix the heat. So they only use a wok, but they will mix a combination of high heat followed by low heat and then back to high heat, or they might pan fry something before they stew it.
That's
or
right,
boil
that's right.
Before
heat and timing is a skill that's cultivated over many, many years. And they're not looking at exact temperatures. What they look at is how the oil is bubbling, how many bubbles there are relative to the steam, and all of that type of experience that's cultivated over many years helps them to understand this principle of heat and timing. And if watching any of this and listening to any of this is getting you interested in trying some of it, you can head to booth number 4 to buy tickets and come in and try some of the food yourself.
Yes, I highly recommend it. Today are the finalists for this competition. They're really going for the gold. And we're right now looking at kitchen station number 3, and it is Chu Saisheng from Taiwan.
That's
they
right.
had a large competition in Taiwan as well, preliminaries, and
those
9
are
of those
tenderloin slices we're watching him deep fry. Tenderloin slices. I'm hoping we're going to get a chance to try that.
Yes,
so
look at how good that looks.
Yeah.
So here's another example of how they have to really get the timing of the heat, the level of the heat proper. And they can actually tell by how heavily you'll see the oil bubbling.
That's right. They look at not only how many bubbles there are, but the size of the bubbles. All of these are indicators for them to balance the heat and the timing. But we're talking a lot about what these chefs are using. When we get to experience Chinese food, we are using chopsticks. We're not using a wok, of course.
No, not.
So if you haven't had a chance to learn how to use chopsticks, we're going to watch a short video to give you a bit of an introduction. Let's watch the video on chopsticks.
Hello everyone, I'm Cici of Food Paradise. Today we are going to learn how to use chopsticks. First, I am going to use my right hand. Make sure that you curl your fingers just a little bit. Now pick up the first